Look at the sheer size of a modern cargo ship. These steel leviathans carry around 90. The Act forces domestic shipping practices to sync with the strictest international maritime treaties on the books today. Structurally, the legislation is built on three distinct pillars. It protects the machinery through the ship, the people through the sailor, and the environment through the sea. This three-part architecture creates a unified oversight mechanism designed to cover every variable within India's maritime territory. Let's look at that first pillar, the ship. The Act establishes the Director General of Maritime Administration as the central authority, the single office overseeing how every vessel is classified and regulated. In Sections 14 and 15, every seagoing vessel must be formally registered and officially certified for safety. Panning to subsection 1, requiring ships to be owned by Indian citizens or companies, ensures a traceable chain of accountability for every hull. This centralized registry makes a vessel's history, safety status, and ownership instantly accessible to the state, turning maritime oversight into a transparent administrative process. The second pillar secures the human workforce. The Act establishes a Seafarers' Welfare Board dedicated explicitly to championing the physical and financial rights of the crews keeping these operations afloat. Sections 64 and 65 legally guarantee that sailors receive monthly wages and strict hours of rest. Shifting to Section 67, shipowners must maintain financial security to cover the cost of returning stranded sailors to a proper port. These legal protections shift the catastrophic financial risks of global travel away from the individual sailor and place the burden of care squarely on the shipowners. The third pillar focuses on the environment. The legislation treats the ocean ecosystem as a critical, vulnerable stakeholder that requires aggressive legal protection. In Section 131, the Act legally binds Indian vessels to international pollution standards, most notably the MARPOL Convention, the global gold standard for marine conservation. This translates into heavily enforced prohibitions. It outlaws dumping of harmful substances, demands strict management of ballast water to prevent invasive species destroying habitats. The legislation functions as a strict environmental filter, ensuring that India's commercial maritime expansion remains consistent with modern ecological standards. Even with an ironclad framework of safety and labor checks, the ocean remains hostile. Crises and collisions are an inevitable reality of maritime life. To address this, the Act establishes dedicated nodal authorities, centralized commands specifically built to manage severe maritime casualties and pollution emergencies. These authorities are legally empowered to launch rapid response operations instantly. They work to pull people from the water and contain environmental spills to minimize damage to crews and coastlines. Codifying these authorities integrates emergency response into the core of the legal code, moving India's maritime posture toward an instantly proactive stance. By legally mandating these three pillars, the 2025 Act successfully aligns India's domestic fleet with the highest global safety, environmental, and labor treaties. This stringent legal alignment gives the Indian fleet a competitive edge in international ports while establishing a higher standard for the treatment of its workforce. Through this comprehensive rewrite of its legal code, India has ensured its maritime future is structurally secured to be prosperous, safe, fair, and clean.